How's everybody doing? Great. How was lunch? Good. Hey, well, great to see everybody. Great to be up here. Welcome to the second half of Zoomtopia 2018. What did we think of this morning? That was pretty cool stuff, right? Yeah. Eric and Oded and the team. Let's have a real round of applause. Bring the house down. Come on. Energy. I want to hear it. All right. All right. That's good. That's good. And what about our exhibits next door and our partners? How was that? That was pretty cool, right? If you haven't been, you got to go. Some really cool things happening next door. Hope you've been having an opportunity to collaborate and network with your peers this morning and this afternoon and later when we're having the big party. So the future of work, or working in the future. Some things are going to change. Some things are going to stay the same. There's a variety of different trends that are going on about us that we're all living through today. And I'm going to touch on them briefly. The workforce. The composition of the workforce is changing dramatically. The geographical distribution of that workforce is also changing rapidly. And knowledge, content, data, this is growing at exponential rates. And we heard this morning about speed and agility. That too is incredibly important and changing. And we heard about artificial intelligence and machine learning and intelligent automation and incredible changes in technology. That's all changing too. So let's go into a little bit of details on that and some of the numbers. The world's population 40 years ago was around 3.7 billion people. It's now about 7.6, 7.7 billion people. So that's double in the last 40 years. Here's another interesting data point. 40 years ago, 310 million people flew in a year. Last year, 4 billion people flew. 4 billion people. 13 times the number of what it was 40 years ago. Fascinating. Here's some other interesting data points. By the middle of 2019, Gen Z will be 32% of the world's population. And at the same time, 31.5% of the world's population will be millennials. 2/3 of the world's population are made up of Gen Z and millennials, 5 billion people, and we are all hiring these people locally, nationally, and globally. This is a population of people who grew up, as I say, on glass, on their mobile device, on laptops, in a mobile world. They grew up in the world of the internet. They don't know what it was like before that. Anybody ever had a conversation with their kid about a coin box? And it's like, the notion that I had to stop and sort of find a quarter and make a phone call. They don't know what you're talking about. They grew up in a wireless world. They don't know what a wire is. They grew up living through one of the worst financial crises we've ever experienced. And they grew up, unfortunately, during a time of great terror. Not just terror, but cyber and physical terror. Typical knowledge workers in the past were office workers and financial analysts and scientists, people who worked at desks. But the knowledge workers in the future are everybody. The person who delivers the package to our home. The person who is maintaining your car when you bring it in for service. The person who comes to your house to fix that new digital refrigerator, Internet of Things, and what have you. These are all knowledge workers. Everybody is a knowledge worker. And then we have the cadence of change, where it's constantly increasing all the time and allowing us to do things that we never thought possible. I don't know if any of you have read about what's going on in the UK as an example, where they've got drones going out and surveying the roads. And these drones are looking on the road surfaces to find a pothole. And when they find a pothole, what does the drone do? It sends a signal to another drone. And that drone comes out and patches the pothole. Pretty cool, right? Very cool. I only hope they don't try this in New York City, because if they do, oh my God, traffic will just grind to a halt forever. And then we have the evolution and the introduction of all of these capabilities. Intelligent automation, robotics process automation, natural language processing, machine learning, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, and so on. And these are all allowing us to do things that we never thought possible. They're changing the way we can do things in our future. And then we have enterprises who are endorsing and supporting the remote working capability, the remote worker. Why are they doing this? Yes, they want to reduce their real estate footprint, but that's not the only reason why. They're also doing this because they want to change the work-life balance for their employees. You think about a family with young children and they want to see the kids off to school in the morning on the bus. That's nice, right? And they want to be there when the kids come off the bus, give them a snack, get them doing their homework, and then go back to work and not have to drive. Or, as we're all growing older, being able to care for that aged parent. And then we've got the talent shortage. We've heard about this too, and how we need to recruit more broadly on a national basis and a global basis. Fortune 1000, there was a review done of Fortune 1000 companies, and the results set that came out of that are really rather staggering. They identified through the study of these companies that the desks in their offices are empty 50% of the working day. Think about that for a minute. 50% of the working day. You wonder where they all are. That's a different question. But they're empty during the day. And then you have the data point that 50% of the people surveyed would prefer to work remotely. And here's something even more interesting. 37% said they would actually take a pay cut for the privilege of working from home. And so as I was thinking about this data point, I hope Eric isn't getting any ideas. As many of you know, I spend a lot of time talking to CIOs, CFOs, CEOs of large companies. In a recent conversation I had with the CIO of a very large enterprise, he told me about a productivity study that he did on one of his campuses here in the US. 2 buildings, 8,000 people in each building adjacent to each other. After they did this productivity study, they found they were getting 20% loss in productivity by people going from one building to another for meetings. Think about that. 20% productivity, 16,000 people, losing 320 person years every year by people going from one building to another. And then we have the thirst for knowledge. We're growing data every day. We're accumulating more and more data every day. We're now accumulating data. You have to listen to this one really carefully because it's a bit of a tongue twister. At 2.5 quintillion bytes a day. Some people might want to Google quintillion. I'll save you the time. It's 10 to the power of 18. 18 zeros. A really, really big number. 2.5 quintillion bytes a day. 90% of the world's data has been accumulated in the last 2 years. Fascinating statistic. And we live in the world of now. We want instantaneous gratification. I want to know it now. I want the information now. I want to know who can tell me the information I need, and I want it in a seamless and frictionless fashion. And then we have the technologist and the professional. The role of the technologist has changed. The role of the technologist is all about deploying secure, efficient platforms for the professionals to increase their productivity and so they can get their work done without having to call tech. Because the technical literacy of professionals, irrespective of their majors in college, is changing dramatically. It's all about the tech. A couple of examples. When you look at in the big data space, and you look at data visualization tools, and you look at what these technically literate professionals can do with these data visualization tools, they can capture vast amounts of data, structured, unstructured, internal, external. They can analyze this data without having to call tech. They can create the insights out of this data and produce fantastic results. If you look at sort of workflow automation tools, you can now get workflow automation tools where the professionals can reconfigure these processes to handle exceptions or actually change the entire workflow. And so, what does all this mean when we think about the future of work and working in the future? Some things will change. Some things will stay the same. There's one important fact you need to take away from this. Change is inevitable. You can either resist the change and potentially get run over by it. I don't think anybody in this room would be in that category. Or you can leverage the change and use it to your advantage. And organizations, all these mega trends that are going on, are causing enterprises to rethink how they work, the future of work, and causing enterprises to endorse and support the notion of greater collaboration and greater communication. And so Zoom, we are at the epicenter of working in the future. We are all about collaboration and communication. And when you heard this morning from Eric and Odette and the team about what we're doing in this space on all the new innovations we're bringing out, that's clear evidence. When you hear about these industry analysts and how they're raising our capabilities, that's clear evidence. And so it's my privilege, and I'm really excited to introduce to you Joe Park, who's the Vice President and Chief Digital Architect for Walmart. And as we know, Walmart is the largest retailer in the world with 2.3 million employees operating in over 20 countries around the world. And he's going to talk to you about how they are embracing the future of work. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you, Harry. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Park. I'm with Walmart, and I lead the workplace technology and enterprise data for the company. So today I'll take you a little through reimagining retail, what that means for Walmart and the rest of the world. And we'll also hit on some of the themes that Harry did, which are really relevant to what's going on. A quick plug, you're going to notice that there's a video running over here. If you're unlike Eric and the 140 million customers in the US who shop in our stores or online a week, you're invited to see what it's like to be in our stores today and our offices. So what's going on in retail? Retail is changing quite a bit. It wasn't too long ago that if you had price and assortment, you'd get your customers to come and shop. But the funny thing is with technology and change, like all the stuff that Harry talked about, that's not enough. Customers these days, I'm sure many of you nod your head, is the fact that price, the assortment, the access in which you can shop, but also the experience you get all factor in. So really what that means is the expectations for our customers have changed, and that means that we really need to change too. So how are we driving innovation? We've got a couple here. One, online grocery pickup. Think about the experience of a parent, whether it's a mother, father, 2 kids in a car. You know, the last thing you want to do is go into a supermarket and pick up your groceries. Online grocery pickup, you order online, pick on the app, park, let them know you're there, and our associates load up your trunk. Same for delivery. If you don't want to go out, you want to stay home, in 4 hours, you'll get your stuff delivered to your door. The best part is we've got our personal shoppers who will pick the freshest produce, make sure they're picking what you want, and you get it in time. Pickup towers. I think people call them the world's largest vending machines. The way it works is if you're impatient, you don't care about those 2 days of shipping, you want it now, but you also don't want to wait in line, order online, go to your nearest Walmart. I think there's one about 1.5 miles away from this hotel. And this pickup tower shoots it out in seconds. And we've got other stuff too, kiosks inside the stores. We've got ability for customers to go in and shop the way they want. But the whole story here is that in order for us to meet the expectations that have changed for customers, we're going to have to change how we work. So how are we changing how we work? If you think about the employees we have in our stores, let me make sure it transfers over. We've got new things going on, right? The average supercenter is about 200,000 square feet. That's a lot of walking to find stock, to check aisles. It takes a lot of time. So how do you do online grocery pickup? How do you have orange big towers dispensing goods? Well, we're going to have to give some productivity back. So things like the Alphabot. For Walmart, the Alphabot's really a way for our online grocery pickup associates to focus more on selecting the right goods and less on trying to gather boxes, run down the aisles, and get a good workout on their Fitbit. For Bossa Nova, these things are awesome. These robots are scanning the aisles, checking to see what's in stock, what's out of inventory, and notifying our associates. So less time manually walking down the aisles and more time going in and talking to our customers. Finally, Auto-C, that's a fancy name. I think it's autonomous cleaner, but Auto-C sounds a lot better. It's really just a driverless car in our stores that we're testing out, and they sweep, clean, and polish the floors so our associates don't have to do that. Now, all these things are being done for our customers. It's also being done for productivity. But you heard Harry talk about technology in a way that's changing. So what are we doing for our associates who work in the stores or in the office? Well, take a look here. If I were to compare technology at work for many of you, including myself, it's complicated. You'll have instruction manuals. It's outdated. You might be on Windows XP or Windows 7. It's one size fits all. I mean, everyone gets the same laptop. Everyone gets the same apps. It's really awful. You compare that to your experience at home with technology, where it's instant, on demand, it's simple, and just like Zoom, I have to throw that plug in, it just works. It's no fair comparison. So a lot of what we're trying to do at Walmart is change the expectations of our associates to match those of customers. So let me share one example that I really love, and it's one that gets us excited, and I hope this whole auditorium gets excited. For us, when we think about something as simple as monitors in a conference room or monitors in a meeting room, today you've got VGA cables, HDMI cables, USB-C cables, a bunch of them. And that's a terrible experience. By putting Zoom Room into our offices and having wireless presentation, our associates love it. They say that's simple, that's great. Then you turn those things into digital signage. Next thing you know, everyone loves them because now we can communicate and we have a way to reach a broader audience. Simple, convenient. So what do we say at Walmart when we want to make it personalized? So we take all the monitors we have, let's say there's about tens of thousands at Walmart, which is the latest count, turn them all into digital signage. And then, keeping that in your head, what if we take all the enterprise data that my team owns, think meeting subjects, email subjects, all anonymized, you take all the ServiceNow help desk tickets, you take all the social media data, and you put all that into a data lake. So you got 10,000 monitors, you got a data lake, and you bring that together. That's pretty magical. At Walmart, we're not viewing digital signage as just something that you look at. It's going to be contextual and personalized. So the use case we're striving for is I walk into a meeting room at Walmart. My team is building something awesome where we want to be able to go in and it says, "Good morning, Joe." 5 seconds later, it says, "Joe, we noticed from scanning your computer that 5 out of your 10 peers have Zoom. You don't. Scan this QR code on the digital signage and we'll over the air drop it on your laptop." 7 seconds later, next transition screen. "Hey, Joe, don't have fear of missing out. These are the top 5 subjects for meetings happening this week on your floor. Here's some context. Go reach out. Don't miss out on these important meetings." Next 7 seconds, lunch menu downstairs. But the best part is you leave that conference room, you peep over to the next one, and it's completely different for the individual in that room. For us, that's the definition of being simple, convenient, and personalized, and we're trying to bring that more to Walmart. So why are we doing all this? You heard Harry talk about 2.3 million associates. At Walmart, we also have 5 to 6 generations working for the first time in one company in significant numbers. Think about that. That's like your grandparents or your great-grandparents along with their children. With all that, it gets really hard to personalize. So without technology, we can't do it. The best part for us, though, is that we get to focus every day on making sure that each of our associates, no matter how unique you are, you can bring your best self to work. That means the technology you have, the tools you have, that's the communications you get. That's the direction we're heading towards. And the way we do that is we hire tons of data scientists, we respect design thinking and UX, we have a ton of engineers, and for us, we're all working towards this overarching vision to make sure that happens. So for Walmart, you know, the fact is technology is changing the way we live, the way we work, and the way we shop in retail. We believe that our strategy of making sure that we're embracing technology to empower our associates so they can better serve our customers is how we're going to win. And so that's how we define what being people-led and tech-empowered is. So thank you.
No, yes, to call us out.
Oh, what's going on? Are you all right? Oh, right here. There you go. Did you find Nemo, by the way? Did you find Nemo? Oh, okay. Come on over here. And let's bring on Joe, too. Where's Joe? There's Joe. All right, here we go. Let's give him a round of applause. I love it. In with the theme right here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have some rapid-fire Q&As. So as I mentioned earlier, slido.com. And use the password Zoomtopia. And so we have some questions already. So let's do some rapid fire ones right here. Okay, since you're here, come on. I like that. Get in with a theme. Okay, here's
at Walmart.com. So
here's one from the audience. Yes. What's your favorite board game?
Taboo.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. Okay. What about this? Would you rather have unlimited Wi-Fi everywhere or flying cars?
I go for Wi-Fi.
Okay, good.
We didn't even rehearse that.
I know, you didn't even rehearse that. Okay.
We rehearsed the other one.
What's your favorite type of car?
Tesla.
I'd say Hyundai Sonata.
Okay. Tesla, why Tesla, Harry?
It just works. It's like Zoom.
It just works. I love it. Well, here's some other questions here. How can we best support our slightly technophobic coworkers and help them feel comfortable joining the digital workplace?
I don't know what the hell that means.
You want to pass?
Sorry. Is this being live, bro?
Let's pass. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next question right here. Do you have an answer to that? No. Okay.
Yes.
What's your go-to non-Zoom productivity app?
Well, music, obviously.
Music, okay.
Music, yeah.
For me, it's we have an internally developed app at Walmart, shameless plug, but for us, it's the ability to find people when we want, where we want, and it's basically a people finding app.
All right, fantastic. Let's keep it moving with some more questions. Remember, you could vote up, too, if you like some questions there on the slido.com. It feels like people have been predicting the death of email for a few years now. Now, do you see that as a valid prediction?
No. I'd love it. Trust me, I would like to see email gone, but no, it's not going to die anytime.
It's not.
I agree. I think it's going to become more impactful as we go to other places, but it's not going to disappear.
I think the way we'll use email will change, though. I do think that it's like, I mean, I'm using much more the internal chat for internal conversations and then email for external. That's kind of like how I'm bifurcating my world. Trying to, anyway.
Okay, great. What is a product that you're excited about right now?
Zoom.
Great answer. Zoom.
The soft phone specifically, I'm very excited about that.
All right, let's keep on scrolling here. We've got a question here. How do you combat a workplace that is afraid to allow employees to work from home? Well, we know that happens.
Yeah. I think that I don't know how to answer that question rapidly, but I think that it's a cultural change, and it has to be adopted over time. I think that sort of there's an element of people who are worried that if I can't see them, I can't work with them, and that's why I think I have to give a plug for Zoom again. I mean, I am remote, but I don't feel remote. Because when I connect with my colleagues and my teammates around the nation and around the globe, we're always on video, and I can see them and I can hear them and we can content share, and I feel like I'm actually in a room with them. Actually, somebody shared a comment with me a couple of weeks back about, when you have a meeting, ideally you'd like everybody to go into the room, into a conference room. Like in the ideal world, we'd like to be physically in the same room. And if you're physically in the same room, would you ever put a brown paper bag over your head so you can't see anybody and they can't see you? You would never do that, right? And so turning on the video makes that whole live experience.
Okay.
Sorry, long answer to a short
yeah, it's supposed to be rapid fire. Fast,
I know.
I'm furious.
Nothing rapid about me, sorry.
Yes. How about, we have so many applications and resources at our fingertips to help us in the workplace. Now, how do you avoid these from becoming a distraction?
I think a lot of companies, they're behind. But Zoom, a couple of other social media apps, they're realizing this and putting in these do not disturb features. They're realizing screen time's important. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these tools start helping us measure that and become better at managing it.
Okay, great. We've got a couple more minutes in the rapid fire round here. How come there are no penguins here?
That's a good point.
And I'll talk to Janine about that. See if the marketing team can get penguins for next year.
I think we'd like to have some penguins, yeah. Nice. Okay, let's go to the next one. Why do we have so many meetings in the first place? Meetings after meetings for meetings for meetings.
Yeah.
Why are we meeting for a meeting?
I wonder many times why.
Yeah, well, meeting for a meeting is not really helpful, but sort of getting together with your colleagues to discuss a topic and create an action plan. Sort of what's the problem, what's the root cause, and how are we going to solve it? I think that's what meetings are about. Sometimes you can have meetings where there's no a meeting without an action plan.
Yeah.
A meeting without an action plan where there's discrete and direct ownership. Was a meeting just to sort of like say, how are you, Joe? You having a nice day?
And I think we have 60 more seconds here and as we get going with this rapid fire. We all get that video is better than phone, right? But what's next what's the next form of communication that's better than video?
Telepathic.
Close with that. Yeah.
Telepathic.
I see.
That's right.
And I will talk to Odette about that later.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be virtual collaboration, whether it's going to be on digital whiteboards, whether it's virtual editing together, but that's probably the next big thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the insight into the future. Let's give it up for Harry and Joe, our little rapid fire round.